Alhaji Tukur leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with an intensity that made her skin crawl. Before she could even register what was happening, it was over.
You see?
Alhaji said, leaning back with a satisfied grin.
I told you it wouldn't hurt or take time.
Banker jumped up from the bed, her heart racing. She looked around the room, dazed and disoriented. The last thing she remembered was agreeing to Alhaji's demands. Alhaji reached for a sleek black briefcase, snapping it open with a practiced flick. He pulled out several wads of cash and handed them to her.
This here is 600,000 naira.
He said, his voice filled with smug satisfaction.
Keep the change.
Banker stared at the money in disbelief. Her hands trembled as she took it. She muttered a shaky thank you before quickly retreating to her room. The girls were paid at the end of the conference and they each returned to their various destinations. When she got back to the University of Calabar, everything about her changed. Gone were her simple dresses and modest lifestyle. Banker began wearing trendy outfits, expensive perfumes, and flashy jewelry. Her appearance became the talk of the campus. Students whispered whenever she walked by. Banker don't turn big girl, one student said. She was the quiet one before. Where is she seeing all this money? Another replied. Some students avoided her, wary of the sudden change, while others flocked around her, eager to associate with the latest babe on campus. Banker basked in the attention and joined her newfound popularity. 2 weeks after the Abuja trip, Banker started feeling a dull ache in her breasts. At first, she dismissed it as nothing serious, but the pain didn't go away. It only grew worse. One morning, as she was getting dressed, she noticed the strange fluid seeping from her nipples. Panicked, she went to the campus clinic. The doctor examined her and reassured her.
It's likely a hormonal imbalance. These things happen sometimes.
He prescribed some medication and told her to come back if the symptoms didn't improve. Banker left the clinic feeling relieved, but deep down, unease lingered. She began taking the drugs, hoping they would work. Days turned into weeks, and instead of improving, Banker's condition worsened. Her breasts began to swell, growing larger with each passing day. The fluid continued to leak, soaking through her bras and clothes. She started wearing loose maxi gowns to hide the changes, avoiding her friends and skipping classes. The whispers on campus grew louder. Why is Banker always covering herself these days? Maybe she's hiding something. Others speculated. The pain became unbearable and her once glowing skin turned pale. The money she had earned from the ushering job was gone, spent on medications and hospital visits that yielded no results. One morning, Banker woke up and realized she couldn't do it anymore. Her breasts had grown so large and heavy that even walking was a struggle. She packed her belongings and left Calabar, boarding a bus to Akure. Her parents were shocked when she arrived home. The once vibrant and confident Banker now looked like a shadow of herself. Her father stared in disbelief, his mouth agape. Banker, what happened to you? Her mother cried, rushing to hold her, tears streaming down Banker's face as she tried to explain, but the words couldn't come. Her mother dabbed tears from her eyes with the edge of her wrapper. Her father stood by the window, his arms crossed, his face a mask of deep worry. The once bubbly girl who left for Calabar was now a shadow of herself, and they couldn't understand what had gone wrong. Olubanke, her father finally said, breaking the heavy silence.
What is wrong with you? What is going on? How did you get like this?
Banker shifted uncomfortably, avoiding their gaze. I don't know, she whispered. I just woke up one day and started feeling pains in my chest. Then it started swelling. Her mother's voice cracked as she asked, and you didn't think to tell us sooner? I thought it would go away, Banker said, her voice trembling. Her mother didn't waste any time. The next day, they took her to the first hospital in Akure, where the doctor examined her with furrowed brows. Medically, there is nothing here that explains this condition. The doctor said, it's strange. Frustrated, they moved to another hospital, then another and another. Each time, they got the same response: confusion, uncertainty, and no solution. At one point, a candid doctor pulled them aside and said, I'm sorry, but this doesn't look like a medical problem. It seems more spiritual than anything else. With no other options, Banke's parents turned to prayer houses. They visited one prophet after another, each claiming they could help, but none made any difference. Banke's condition worsened and her breasts grew larger and more grotesque by the day. The fluid leaking from them became foul-smelling, making it difficult for her to stay around people. Her parents, exhausted but determined, eventually heard of Pastor Kunle, a man reputed for solving impossible cases. They took Banke to a small but vibrant church on the outskirts of town. The moment Pastor Kunle laid eyes on Banke, his expression grew serious. He motioned for the family to sit and began to pray. As he prayed, he stopped abruptly and looked at Banke. "My dear," he said, his voice firm but kind. "You need to confess. What have you done?" Banke blinked, confused. "I haven't done anything," she replied, her voice weak. "Think carefully," Pastor Kunle said, his gaze piercing. "This kind of affliction doesn't come without cause. Whatever you have done, you must speak it out for your deliverance." Banke shook her head, racking her brain. Nothing came to mind until it hit her like a thunderclap. "It must be Alhaji Tukur." "Who is Alhaji Tukur?" her mother asked sharply, her voice laced with both fear and suspicion. Tears streamed down Banke's face as she stammered, I met him during the ushering job in Abuja." Her parents exchanged worried glances. "And what did he do to you?" his father demanded. In tears, Banke recounted everything: the ushering job, the money, the trip to Abuja, and the moment she allowed Alhaji Tukur touch her. "Jesu!" her mother wailed, clapping her hands against her thighs. "Ha! Olubanke, after all the things your father and I have done for you, after all the preaching you hear in church, after all the warnings, yet you choose this path of evil." Banke sobbed uncontrollably. "I didn't know, Mama. I didn't know this would happen." Her father turned away, his shoulders slumped in despair. Pastor Kunle waited patiently for the commotion to die down. Then he spoke. "This is serious. Alhaji Tukur is not an ordinary man. You have given him something sacred, and he has used it against you. The only way to break this is to confront him and demand that he untie you." Banke's mother gasped. "How do we even find him?" "You must try," Pastor Kunle said. "It is up to her. She can choose to remain like this or fight to reclaim her destiny." Banke and her parents left Pastor Kunle's church with heavy hearts. The pastor's instructions were clear. They had to find the mysterious Alhaji Tukur. It was the only way to break the affliction. Banke's mother, determined to save her daughter, left for Calabar using the address Banke had provided. Upon arriving at the campus, she located the hostel and met Amaka, the friend Banke had mentioned. "I am Banke's mother," she began, tears glistening in her eyes. "Please, I beg you in the name of God, tell me about Alhaji Tukur. My daughter's life depends on it." Amaka's face twisted into a mask of confusion. "Ma, I don't know what you are talking about," she said, shaking her head. "You don't know?" Iya Banke asked, her voice trembling. "But she said you went to Abuja together for an ushering job. She said you introduced her to him." Amaka recoiled, her tone growing defensive. "Banke must have lied to you. I have never been to Abuja with her or anyone else. I don't even know who this Alhaji Tukur is." Iya Banke stared at her, searching her face for any sign of remorse or guilt, but Amaka's expression remained firm. Defeated and heartbroken, Iya Banke returned to Akure. She shared the disappointing news with her husband and Banke. Banke's condition, meanwhile, continued to deteriorate. Banke's breasts grew larger and heavier, the foul-smelling fluid leaking continuously. She could barely walk or sleep. Her parents sold almost everything they had to pay for medications and more prayers, but nothing worked. One fateful morning, as Banke sat on the floor of their home, unable to rise, she screamed in agony. Her breasts, swollen beyond recognition, burst open, releasing a horrific mixture of pus and blood. The pain was unbearable, and before her parents could rush her to the hospital, Banke took her last breath. Her parents were left in shock and unimaginable sorrow, their home filled with the cries of grief. Their once beautiful daughter, full of life and dreams, was gone. Her life tragically cut short by a single reckless decision. Years later, Amaka graduated and moved on with her life. She neither reached out to Banker's family nor acknowledged her role in the tragic event. As for Alhaji Tukur, he was never found. It was later discovered that his real name was Chief Omego, a man notorious for using unsuspecting young women for rituals. But without evidence or a clear trial, he remained free, continuing his wicked exploits in the shadows. The pursuit of quick wealth often leads to destruction. True success comes through patience, hard work, and integrity. Choose your friends wisely, for the company you keep can either build or destroy you. Remember, one wrong decision can cost you everything: your dreams, dignity, and even your life. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more interesting stories, please consider subscribing to this channel, not forgetting to turn on the bell notification icon so that once another video is being posted, you will be the first to be notified.